Hey everyone, it's Ada, and I wanted to do a makeup tutorial today. And so I have all of my products here to the left of me, and I'm sorry for the mess behind me. I've cleaned up quite a bit, but it still tends to revert back to its messiness almost immediately after I clean. So, next to me I have my headband that I'm going to go ahead and put on now to hold my hair back while I'm doing my makeup. And I have my little makeup bag. It's not little at all, but I already have it unzipped. And then I have my starters here. So my starters are my Thayer's Natural Remedies Witch Hazel Aloe Vera Formula with Rose Petal. I get the rose petal because that has rose water in it, which is very hydrating for my skin, and I really enjoy it. I haven't tried the original or the lavender one, but I've really enjoyed this one. I'm about halfway through it, and how I put it on is I just drip it into my hand, and I get probably about the size of a nickel in the palm of my hand. You probably can't see it because it's clear. And then I just rub my hands together like this. And then I just gently rub my face. Next, for my starter, I have my Pacifica Dreamy Youth face cream, day and night face cream. And I'm just going to pump that onto my finger, and I'm going to place it onto the 4 major spots on my face, and then just rub that in gently, of course. Now that my moisturizers are done, I'm going to go ahead and grab my foundation. Actually, I'm going to go ahead and start with primer. So I'm going to go ahead and use the e.l.f. Tone Adjusting Face Primer. It's just this green one. And just pump a tiny bit, and then same thing that I did with my moisturizer, getting the 4 main spots. Then next, for my foundation, what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to take the bottom of one of my powders that I have, and I have my Kat Von D Lock-It foundation, and I'm going to pump that out onto this first. And then to put my foundation onto my face, I'm going to go ahead and use one of my EcoTools face sponges. I couldn't remember what the brand was for a second. It comes in a little set. I have the second one as well. And then I'm just going to take the bottom rounded spot and dip that into the foundation. And the reason why I place it on a flat surface like this is because I feel like my hand soaks up quite a bit of the foundation, and in order to make sure that I get it all onto my face, I just put it on the back of this. And if I want to spread this out a little bit more, I'll typically do 1 pump of the foundation and then 1 pump of my moisturizer, and it works out really well to just allow me to get more area covered, whereas without taking any of the pigment away. And then whenever I have some left over, I just get the bottoms of my cheeks over here, because I tend to lose foundation in that area the most, and then I'll just drag it down to around my face and then onto my ears a little bit, and then below my chin, just to bring it down, because nobody likes a foundation line. Then I'm also just going to try and rub it into the edge of my face a little bit better. Now for my concealer, I'm going to go ahead and use the Physicians Formula Conceal RX in the shade Fair Light. And for this, I'm just going to go ahead and put it straight onto my face. Okay, now I've repositioned myself a little bit better. I'm just going to go ahead and squeeze it straight onto my under eye area. And then again onto my lid area. And I put too much on this side, so I'm just going to transfer it over here. Okay, and I'm going to use the other sponge from my Eco Tools sponge kit. I'm just going to dab it all in. And then if I have any excess, I'll just take it down the bridge of my nose. Before I powder my face, I'm going to go and do my eyeshadow. So for the base of my eyes, I'm just going to take my face powder. It's the Physicians Formula multicolored pressed powder and translucent, and I'm just going to take my Eco Tools double-ended brush, and I'm going to take the fluffy side, and it's clean, and I'm just going to make sure that's cleaned off. Then I'm just going to swirl it into the face powder, and then I'm just going to take it all over the concealer. For my crease, I'm going to take this little e.l.f. eyeshadow, Flawless eyeshadow kit. I don't know what the colors are anymore. I've taken the sticker off the back on accident, but it is these shades. I'm just going to take that base shade with the same fluffy brush from earlier, and then I'm just going to, I like to leave my eyelids kind of closed, just like this, kind of relaxed, and then I just do swirls in my crease. And then this is just to create a transition to what I'm going to do here later on. And for e.l.f. products, I know a lot of people don't really like the payoff of them, but I don't mind them. For me, I feel like if you just take off the top layer, original layer, you know, just take your brush over it and then clean off your brush, and then underneath that will be a good color payoff and just really good to put on. And then I'm also going to go ahead and take the base shade again, and I'm just going to lightly press it on my lid just because I really like this shade, and I do like e.l.f. eyeshadows quite a bit. I like the butteriness of them. The only thing is that the fallout's pretty bad. Okay, so now the next transition shade that I'm going to go ahead and do, I'm going to take the same palette, and I'm going to go ahead and take the next shade down from the base, which is the golden color, and then I'm just going to do the same thing that I did with the base shade, and I'm just going to lightly go in circles. And then if this color gets on my lid any, it won't really bother me too much, because I kind of really like the golden shade that this color gets off. And then again, I just keep my eyelids relaxed, slightly opened. Now for the next shade, I'm going to take the next color down, which is the pinky golden shade. And again, I'm just going to take my fluffy brush. And this time I'm going to tap off the excess before I start. And I'm just going to, again, take it through my crease. Okay, next I've cleaned off my crease brush, and I'm just going to take some more of my translucent powder from earlier, and I'm just going to press that back on my lid, just to keep that color very pigmented, because it's probably come off quite a bit from all the blending that I've done. Now I'm going to go ahead and take my ColourPop Super Shock Shadow in the shade White Rabbit, and I'm going to go very slowly with this, so it's going to take quite some time. So I'm just going to take the same fluffy brush, and then I barely put any product onto the brush at first because it is just so pigmented. And then also too, the good thing about the Super Shock shadows is that they don't create a lot of fallout, because they're kind of creamy. And so next I'm just going to do like what I've done before. Just go through my crease and slowly doing circles. And then I'm just going to take a tiny bit more onto my brush and just slowly build it up. Okay, now that I have my left eye done, I'm going to go ahead and take the Real Techniques sculpting brush and my translucent powder, and I'm just going to swirl that and take it and press it underneath my eyelid, or my eye, just in general, you know, where I put the concealer. And I'm just going to powder the left side of my face, and then I'm going to go ahead and cut to having my right eye done. Now I've done my other eye and I've powdered my entire face, and next I'm going to go ahead and work on my eyebrows. I've went ahead and spooled them already, and I just have my brush that came with my Milani eyebrow kit, and I have the shade medium 3, or medium brown 3. It's the Stay Put brow color. So what I just do is I just go ahead and swirl it around the pigment like this and get the brush covered, and that'll typically be enough for both eyebrows, if not just definitely one, and then I just go through. And how I like to do it, I like to go across the bottom and then do the back of my eyebrow, and then I will do the top and the front. And then if I feel like I've done any harsh lines, then I'll just take my spoolie and I'll go through them, or then if I really mess up, like I kind of did at the bottom there, I'll just take my finger. Okay, now my eyebrows are done, and next I'm going to go ahead and do a little bit of highlight. So for this, I'm just going to take my Milani Brow Fix Brow Kit. It's the powder in the shade medium 2, and I'm just going to take my e.l.f. blush brush, and then I'm just going to dip one of the sides into it, and then just go, and then I'm just going to take any of the excess and put it on my brow bone. So next I'm going to go ahead and do my mascara, but before then I'm going to curl my eyelashes. So what I do is I just put my eyelash curler on for about 15 seconds. Okay, and then I will take my Pacifica Stellar Gaze mascara in the shade Supernova, which is the black mascara, and just slowly pack it on. So with this mascara, especially whenever it's new, it takes a longer time to pack it on, just because it's a really wet mascara at first, and then as you use it, it gets a little bit more tacky. So one more thing about this mascara is that sometimes it's better to wait for it to dry a tiny bit and then to put on another layer of mascara, because once it dries a little bit, the next layer of mascara sticks on a little bit better, instead of the brush just like taking off what you just put on. It layers a lot more. Okay, and last but not least, I'm going to take my favorite, which is my lipstick, and I'm going to put on the Pacifica Power of Love Powerful Color Natural Lipstick in the shade Nudie Red, and I'm just going to layer it on. And that is it. This was a very natural look for me. Very simple, very flirty, if I do say so myself. And I had a lot of fun doing this, so yeah. And that's going to be about it for today. Again, my name is Ada, and I hope y'all enjoyed.